get started. We still have some folks coming in, but we want to get in and out on time tonight. I want to be the first to officially welcome you to the traditional program. I am Carla Davis, the principal here at Greathouse. I'm completing my 21st year here at Greathouse. I love this program, and after tonight, you're going to know all about the program, and I hope you will fall in love with it just as much as I have. We are welcoming 91 kindergarten students and 35 students in grades 1st through 5th grade. We're also recording our orientation tonight in case you have a friend that could not attend or if you want to refer to any of the information again. As the school principal, Twitter is on this slide. If you want to take notes on your paper, feel free to do that. I wear many hats here at Greathouse. You're going to hear me talking about the vision and the mission and the values of the traditional program a whole lot tonight. I also chair the SBDM Council, and I don't make all of the rules, but I implement all of the rules. I support curriculum, instruction, and assessment. I'm responsible for our school community, family engagement, and just the overall operations of our school. I like to start our orientation session by reflecting upon our vision, because this drives everything that we do and what we're about. Greathouse Traditional Elementary School will provide a rigorous academic program in a structured environment that will enable students ready to be able to enter middle school. So notice rigorous academic program, structured environment. And that pretty much sums up the traditional program, and you'll hear more about that. By the end of tonight, you're going to know our expectations here at Greathouse, and there are quite a few. You're going to know how to get involved. You're going to meet our PTA president. You're going to find out how to support fundraising and volunteer opportunities. You're going to find out all about our dress code. That's a really big part of traditional program. And you're going to understand some of our rules and our systems. By the end of tonight, you may decide, this is not for me, this is not what I signed up for, and that's okay. Because the traditional program is not for every child and every family. And you may decide that that is your case after tonight. We have received the National Blue Ribbon recognition not only once, but twice, in 2007 and 2021. And what this means is that we performed in the top 10% of elementary schools nationally. And that's not a small feat. And the reason we were able to do that is because of all of the rules and the procedures and the partnership agreement that you're going to find out about between the home, the school, and the student. So we're very proud of our history of academic excellence. Now, I do not do all of this on my own. I've got great co-pilots, and I'm going to ask Mr. Ice, our assistant principal, to come forward.
Hi, I'm Michael Ice. I'm the assistant principal here. I am new this year to Greathouse. I was at Lincoln Elementary for 10 years, Watson Lane. I've had many roles, but this is my 25th year in education. As you see on the screen there, I'm a building safety manager. I make sure that we follow all the protocols safety-wise, as far as how families enter the building, how we do our fire drills, our safety drills. I'm racial equity committee chair, making sure that we are equitable across the board as a school. I'm part of the instructional leadership team that is what you see up here, along with our team leaders of each of the grade levels. I support our professional learning communities. That's where our teachers get together. On Thursdays, they have conversations about data, about your children, about how to help them grow. And I work and manage with those along with professional development. And of course, I support and build our staff here. But the main thing is I assist Ms. Davis in all things that she needs, because that's part of my title.
And he does a great job. And then Ms. Megan Anderson is our elementary school counselor.
Hi, yeah, so my name is Megan Anderson. I'm a school counselor. This is my 17th year in education, my 4th year here at Greathouse. Up here you can just see some of the responsibilities that I take on within our school. So counseling for instruction, that is just the new term for guidance, what was formerly known as guidance. So this next school year, it will be a little different. I'll be pushing into classrooms, and I do that on a monthly basis. So I kind of get information from teachers on, the social skills and things that students need to be successful, and I do lessons based on that. I'm also one of the building assessment coordinators, so all things testing. So KSA, which we're getting ready to start here on Thursday, I just kind of help get all of those things ready to go and administer those tests. NAT3 is another one that we do, which relates to our gifted and talented program here at school. Just test kind of things across the board. I am also the car rider lead for our school, so if you are planning to be a car rider this year, you're gonna see my face every morning and every afternoon. For 30 minutes, I'll be out there greeting your child and then being the one to say goodbye when they leave. And I'm also the Culture and Climate Committee chairperson, so we have a committee at school. It kind of plans all of the fun things that we do for our staff and then some of the fun for our students as well. I have student counseling, so in individual and group needed basis. So I kind of get information from teachers, from parents, and then develop, what the students need, if they need a little bit of extra support in a group setting or as an individual student. Student leadership opportunities, so I have a student advisory that I lead at our school with our fifth graders and lead things for the school. And then also I am Gifted Girls Group coordinator for a group that we run. And then lastly, I help students get ready for middle school. So our fifth graders are ready to go and move on to that next chapter. All right, so program structure at Greathouse. There are 4 classes at each grade level, kindergarten through 5th grade, which is a total of approximately 612 students. Our class sizes for K 1, 2, 3 are 24 students in each class. When we move to 4th grade, we go to 28 students, and then 5th is 29 students per class. We have 4 kindergarten assistants, so each of our kindergarten classes have 2 adults. We have the teacher and then the assistant. And then after that, for grades 1 through 5, there's 1 assistant that kind of helps with all of those grade levels. Student supports, so other supports. We have a mental health practitioner here. This is going to be a change for the new school year. For next school year, she will be full-time, which is going to be awesome. She's been half-time for the last few years here. Next year, she's going to move to full-time. She provides individual and small group counseling, social skills lessons, and then other mental health supports. We also have a full-time nurse. We also have an EC implementation coach, which deals with all of the special education. So if you have a student with an IEP or other needs that we need to address, she is responsible for that, as well as for general ed, she does all of our 504 plans. We have a family resource center coordinator. She's around here somewhere. You will hear from her in just a little bit. And then we also have an ESL teacher. This year we had 1, and next year we have more projected ESL students, so we are getting an additional ESL teacher. And then we also have a bilingual associate instructor.
And then we go to our special area classes. So these are sometimes the fun classes, but at the same time, there's a lot of structure and expectations go there. We have art and drama together, dance and music, health, PE, our literacy learning lab, which is like our library with checkout and some other additional components, and our technology lab that we have. While every student in our school does have their own Chromebook that they use in the classroom, they also go to technology lab to really learn how to use those to its fullest effect. Each of those classes are 15 minutes a week, and here's the important part. They do complete assignments. They'll have homework assignments and assessments, and those progresses report on the report card of each grade period, which then leads into their honor roll, their be their best, all those other components that we have here at Greathouse. So they are very important classes that correlate with the classes that are happening in the classroom. And with that, we talk a little bit more about technology. And as I said, we have lab that's once a week. It's 15 minutes. We do have Chromebooks here where everyone gets 1. Every student has 1 to take home. And we have iPads throughout the school for additional support. As you see on our stage here and one below, we have smart panel screens. Every classroom has that, along with a classroom auditory system. So just while I'm speaking on some microphone, they wear to run neck, and they can, throughout the classroom, can hear what's the teacher saying, which is very, very helpful. And then I was gonna say, you can use your technology, either on your, with your phone, you can do it, scan it from up there, or on your paper, and you can connect to all of our social media, which is really important because we share a lot of great things that are going on in our building through that. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and then of course our website there. So we hope and encourage you to join us on that.
And then moving right into assessment, as Ms. Anderson mentioned, we are starting the Kentucky Summative Assessment this Thursday. This is an assessment given to all 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students, and you can see what content areas are assessed at every grade level. We are now in an online format. This used to be a paper pencil test, and now it is completely online. It's held the last few days of the school year, typically in May. And of course, our goal is for all of our Lions to be proficient or distinguished, and that's the top 2 categories. Now, historically, as I mentioned, we've got a long history of academic success. We have been the #1 Jefferson County elementary performing school for as long as I can remember. And there's been several years where we've been #1 in the state, and there's about 850 elementary schools. And like I said, we've been #1 many years. We've earned distinguished School of Distinction classifications, but we don't rest on all of those wonderful things, because guess what? When you're on top, there's only one way to go, and we don't want to go that way. So we are always working to improve, even though we're on top. So we're always on it. I will say, as we go into the purpose of traditional schools, families that are successful and happy here agree with and buy into our philosophy and goals. So it's just like a nice marriage. You need to know what you're getting into, what you're signing up for, and then if we all agree on that, it's going to be great. The traditional program was established here at Greathouse in 1980, so it's been around for a while. Traditional program was designed to meet a need that residents in Jefferson County had. Families wanted more direction and structure so that they could focus on academics and without behavior distractions. And that's kind of our goal. Most of you have already done your homework. You know exactly what you're signing up for, but I do want to caution those of you who may not know what traditional means. We're not a neighborhood school. We're a magnet school. We draw from a very large 1/5 of the entire county. So we're not a neighborhood school. This may be a great location to work, and some folks may say, well, I want to go to Greathouse because of that. Or some folks might say, well, I want to go to Greathouse because they have the best test scores. Those may be true, but that's not the best reason to choose Greathouse. You've got to really buy into the philosophy of the traditional program, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Traditional program is basically basic skills in a very strict environment. Probably how some of you remember going to school back when you went. Teachers in charge. Students raise their hand to be called on. Students walk in a straight line. It's very orderly. It's very calm. There are high expectations. And someone asked me, why is Greathouse so great? What is it about that school? It's the expectations, and I'll tell you right now. Teachers have high expectations. Our parents have high expectations. I have high expectations. Everyone expects the best, and everyone expects that structured environment. You really have to be on board, as I mentioned, for success in this program. There's not a lot of positive reinforcement because we expect everyone to behave, and we expect everyone to do their homework, and we expect everyone to line up. So there's not a lot of, you need to do this because we want you to feel happy. We want you to do this because we want you to be successful, and we want you to be ready for middle school. And I will say, one of my favorite parts of this job is seeing our parents who have graduated through Greathouse and have gone on to Barrett. Most of our students transition to Barrett, come back, and they just say, I want to say thank you. I know I complained. I know I thought it was terrible while I was there, but let me tell you what. My child was ready for middle school, high school, and then college scholarships that they received, and that's what it's all about. So again, that final bullet, clearly established codes of conduct, dress, and rules of operation really kind of guide what we do. Notice self-discipline, self-direction are highlighted there. Those are key terms, and we'll talk a little bit more about rules. One thing I want to mention is that the program really doesn't change. You know, we have our expectations, we have our rules, we have our procedures. Your students' learning style and your family values really have to match what we're about. We don't really water things down, we don't really make exceptions, high expectations, lots of rules and procedures for everyone. Now, students who are coming in kindergarten, typically most do pretty well because they don't know any better. You know, they've not been in schools where there's a little more freedom. If you have a student that's in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, and they've been in other schools where things are a little bit more relaxed, they're probably going to be in culture shock for a little bit. But most do transition. If your student's below grade level, struggling, they're going to probably experience some frustration because we do move pretty quickly through those basic skills. Just be aware and be ready to give that support at home. If your student's not making all A's and B's in their current school, again, just be ready and watching for that in case they do start to struggle. The parents express agreement and support the school guidelines. You will be asked to sign off on a school handbook. It's going to be online. That'll be part of your first day packet. And those ties between communication between home and school, very important, and as I mentioned, make us so successful. Now, enrollment requirements, these are the things that need to be turned in, especially if you're a kindergarten parent. If you are coming from another JCPS school in grades 1 through 5, you've probably already turned in some of these things. But we do ask that you turn these things in prior to the first day of school. There will be some opportunities for your teacher a couple of days before school start. Make sure that you have gotten those in. Take a look at that last bullet, that jcps.me/parent. This is the address that you will go to complete forms, Infinite Canvas. I think it's where you get your.
And I would say, Ms. Davis, that's one right there to bookmark on your phone or have it on your homepage. It's a great place for everything that's JCPS as far as the parent part is concerned, especially all those forms that you have at the beginning of the year. So be on the lookout for that.
Enrollment in the traditional program is strictly lottery-based. It's based upon your address, where you live, and the computer generates that lottery list. I will say, if you move, please let us know, because falsification of address is one reason that you could be removed from the traditional program. If you move during the school year, we will work with you as long as you can provide transportation. You can finish the school year and then go to your correct traditional program for the school for the next year. But we do a lot of mass mailings, and when we get those mailings returned to us, or when the kids just come in and tell their teacher, guess what, we moved clear across town. So we find out about that. So please be upfront, and we'll work to make that transition as easy as possible. There's no priority given in this magnet program to siblings. It's just how it is. And there's no hardship transfer process. Just because you work closer to audit and traditional, you can't go to audit and traditional unless you live in their boundary lines. We teach the exact same thing that any other elementary school in the state of Kentucky teaches. We are all legally required to teach the Kentucky academic standards and the next generation science standards. We teach the same thing. The difference is the environment. Traditional, strict, structured, orderly. That's basically the only difference. We teach the same thing. One thing I do want to point out, there is no foreign language in the traditional program at the elementary level. That starts in middle school. So as I mentioned, basic skills taught in quick progression. There is a balance of paper, pencil, and hands-on activities. I know a lot of people think traditional program, the kids are going to be sitting in their desks, writing and reading with a piece of paper all day. That is not the case. There are some pencil paper things. There's a lot of technology, Chromebook assignments. There's group work. There are projects. There's a balance. We do use textbooks, workbooks, online resources. As I mentioned, a balance. We do follow the workshop model of instruction, and your teachers will be sharing more about that when you come for open house in the fall. I do, the teacher teaches, we do, you practice with me, you do it by yourself. Structured and orderly, I said, you'll hear me say that probably 10 more times tonight, and high academic and behavior expectations for all students. But as I mentioned, the secret to our success is that partnership agreement between the school, the home, and the parent. Now, I'm not gonna lie, our kids, most of our kids walk through the doors, they're ready, parents have them ready, their homework's finished, they've had breakfast, so half of the struggle, we know that, but that communication is why we are what we are. Our PTA is vital. We couldn't do it without them. They support lots of activities and programs here at the school and enable us to do what we can do. I'm gonna ask our 2023-24 president, Leslie Spalding, to come forward. She currently has 2 third graders, so she's gonna be around a little while.
So first, so membership is expected. We really do a lot in the school, and I would encourage you to get involved. The first year I was here, I didn't, and I felt very disconnected. And the second year, it changed my experience completely as a parent. So I would encourage you to get involved in there's so many opportunities to volunteer that you'll see throughout the year. We have a lot of programs and activities. There's a list that you'll see of programs and things that we do. We do ask and expect participation in volunteer opportunities. Like I said, there's so many ways, even if it's just financial support, giving of your time, gifts, talents. You'll see that you will get a lot of what's called sign-up geniuses with opportunities, and you might be over, your inbox might have more of those than you'd like to see, but we are very involved. There will be a membership drive at the beginning of August, and everyone, I think it's expected, I think we'd like to have each child have 3. I think I was a part of the PTA before I had kids. I didn't know that, but I had friends that apparently told me years later that they had added my name to the PTA. So it doesn't matter who those people are that you add, it just helps us with our membership. And then the biggest, not the biggest, but in the fundraiser in October is a big program for us. We need a lot of volunteers and a lot of help with that, but we have a big budget that we are expecting them to fund all these activities and programs. And that's we have one fundraiser a year. So anyway, there's just some things, like if you wanna take a look in there, I look forward to meeting you all and having you help participate in the next upcoming year.
Thank you, Ms. Spalding. Another support that we have here at Greathouse, as we mentioned earlier, is our Family Resource Center Coordinator, Ms. Anita Roper. Hi.
It's good to meet you all. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for bringing your students to Greathouse. Just one little piece of information about my situation. I'm also the FRC at Alex Kennedy. So I'm here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and payday Fridays. And I'm at my other school, Alex Kennedy, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and non-payday Fridays. So, but you can contact me at that email address, and I will get it no matter where I am, and respond as quickly as I can. Our mission is to remove barriers to education, and my part is the non-academic barriers. So I help with food, I help with uniforms, I help with Thanksgiving, I help with winter break, I help with, and I also do after-school programs. I help Miss Anderson with the 6th grade transition groups. We have hygiene supplies. I also help provide referrals for emotional health, housing supports, and other community resources. Here's other few things that we do: health screening. We do have a dental clinic, and at Meet the Teacher Day, we'll have sign-ups for that. The dental clinic is for anyone K through 5, and they must not have had an exam within 6 months. And so then we'll do another one in the spring, 6 months from when we do the one in the fall, and you'll have your dental care needs taken care of. So if that's something you're interested in, you'll see me at the meet the teacher, and we can rock and roll with that. I also gave you a residency form. Before you leave, if you would give that to me, it's amazing, or to Ms. Cattell. Ms. Cattell works, she's the K-5 assistant, but she also, in her other side of the time, works for me in the FRC, so I'm excited to be able to have her. And the last thing I'll tell you is if you're a kindergarten parent, when you come out and you give me those forms, you give them to me already, no problem, you will receive a goodie bag for each of your kindergartners. And it has in it a workbook that helps students to be kindergarten ready. And then it has some just crayons and things in it. So please grab one of those on your way out. If you have any questions, just come and see me or email me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roper. Okay, and we're gonna finish up talking about some more traditional program expectations. We said that this program is a family commitment, asking that you support all programs and activities, agree with and support the school, reinforce discipline, attendance, and homework, and participate in the homework process. I cannot tell you how many students will come home, parents will say, do you have any homework? What's the kid gonna say? No, I did on the bus. No, not really. Well, that's why we say we want to look and not just ask about that, because there will be initials that you'll need to sign off on in the agenda to make sure that you have reviewed that homework. So that's another one of an additional expectation that we have. We also ask that parents review graded work that comes home every Monday. Every Monday, a Monday folder will come home with graded work along with a behavior grade and a work and study grade for the week. You have to sign off on that because it has to be turned in the next day. That's part of the student's homework, is getting that signed and brought back the next day. Also checking to make sure students have their school supplies and replacing those as necessary is important. Homework is a big part of traditional program. It's used to ensure practice of skills introduced in the class. You can expect nightly homework Monday through Thursday, which may include a specific content assignment. It also is going to include individual reading to meet a reading goal that every student has. Kindergarten starts in January, but all others will start the first grading period. Practicing math facts. We just have to memorize those. We have a math challenge for every grade level, including kindergarten. So we just have to start practicing that. What you can do right now is making sure that your student can identify numbers. That'll get them hitting the ground and running. There are also going to be some long-term projects. You may see yours lying, bringing home unfinished classwork. And a lot of parents say, oh my gosh, I had so much homework last night. Well, when you really look at it, you know, Johnny brought home all of this work because some of it he didn't get finished in class because he was thinking about other things. So be aware of that. We do expect students to be responsible for their class and homework. Plan homework around social and sporting events. Most of our teachers will give some flexibility. Like for instance, 5th grade will send home their homework packets on Friday. So you have the weekend and until the next Thursday to finish it. So if you want to do all of your homework over the weekend so that you can go to soccer practice, swimming practice, and basketball, you can do that. But you will need to help your student budget their time to get that homework finished. Homework is part of the grade. We ask parents to sign papers that have failing grades. So you'll be asked to sign it, and also that would be a good opportunity to reteach, correct, do some more practice with whatever concept is needed. Agenda planners are used in most of our grades, not in kindergarten. And we, as I mentioned, parents are responsible for monitoring their practice, their child's progress by signing the agendas, reviewing homework. There's a newsletter that every grade level sends out on Mondays. Everything that you need to know and more is in that newsletter. You know, you're gonna know the learning targets, what's gonna be taught in every content area. you'll know the homework, you'll know the upcoming events, you'll even get to see some really cool pictures of what's going on the previous week. So it's really important that you read that. It's electronic. Everything's on the phone now, on the iPad. I'm trying to get away from paper. And then there's also the parent portal. This is where you're gonna go to see your child's grades, how they're doing, and you'll get more information on that. Traditional program, communication is frequent. Some tell me it's too frequent, but it is frequent, and it's to provide that continuity. You're gonna get phone calls from Greathouse that that I know you probably would not get in a regular public school. Susie doesn't have on a belt today. That's big. Traditional program, that's a big deal. So-and-so hasn't turned in homework for a couple of days. You're gonna get phone calls and emails about nitpicky things. So just know that up front. That's part of the package deal. There are conferences. There's 2 designated days, but you may be invited in for a conference much sooner if there are issues. Lots of notes and letters. We do have a referral system, and when you look at our handbook, you can see copies of all of the referrals. If there's misbehavior on the bus, in the school building. And again, I mentioned the weekly reports. That's going to be in the Monday folder, so you can see what the weekly grade is for behavior and work and study. You will receive a formal report card 4 times annually, every 9 weeks. So our expectations are very simple. We expect students to be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. And you're going to see these blue posters all over the building. So this is in the classroom. We also have those same expectations in the assembly, in the cafeteria, in the hallways. It gets a little more specific, but there are rules for expectations in all areas. And the reason we have all of those rules is because our main goal around here is education. Academics is the #1 reason that we're here, and we expect students to obey all staff so that we don't have to deal with behavior issues. I will also say that we do not fix behavior problems. A lot of parents say, I gotta go to the traditional program because nobody else can manage, little Billy. We often make those problems worse because we don't have a whole lot of behavior issues, so the little behavior issues probably stick out a little bit more around here. So we don't fix them. Traditional schooling does require acceptance of in compliance with clearly established guidelines. If your first reaction is to blame the teacher, this may not be the program for you. And here's a good example of that. Your daughter comes home or your son comes home and they say, Miss Jones gave me a conduct check today. And if you say, why did Miss Jones give you a conduct check? Versus traditional thinking is, what did you do to cause Ms. Jones to give you that conduct check? You see the difference there? You, okay? So we emphasize that personal responsibility. This child is responsible for their actions, and the faster students learn to follow the rules, the easier the transition will be. Now, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of policies. And I will tell you, there's going to be some that you just love and you think, oh my gosh, why wouldn't every school have this procedure? There's going to be some rules that you like. Yeah, it's okay, I can live with this. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 that you don't really like. And there might even be 1 that you just flat out disagree with. But I say all of that, and the point is, the traditional program is not a smorgasbord. We're not Golden Corral and Denny's where you get to come in and pick which rules you like and which rules you think you want to follow. It's a package deal. You have to follow them all. Okay, that's why we're successful. We all buy into it, we all follow the rules, and it keeps us focused on what we're here about, which is teaching students. That's why we're #1. Now, we do have a handbook, as I mentioned, it's online, it contains all of our rules, all of our expectations, and all of our policies. You can go to the website and see the current year, that will be updated for next year, but it'll pretty much be the same. We ask that new families become familiar with the handbook, and you will be asked to sign a verification form in your first day packet. Okay, I'm gonna turn things over to Mr. Ives to talk about traditional school attendance.
Yeah, this is the most important part, is having your students here every single day from the beginning of before even the bell rings to the bell rings. So having them in school every single day. And here's some of the things. The school, you need to notify the school when a student will be absent. So if your student wakes up sick, or you already know in advance that something's going on, you have a doctor's appointment or something, please call the school immediately to let us know so we can mark that and then let the teacher know. Because if your child's not here that day, you get a robocall, you get a text message, you get an email that says your child is missing, where are they? Because we missed them, we want them here. And then you have 3 days from that absence to give us a written explanation. So you have 10 parent notes, meaning you can write a note to the school. You have 10 of those. After that exhausted, everything needs to be a doctor's note. But that's what we'd rather have, is a doctor's note first. You can have as many doctor's notes as you need, but you can only have 10 parent notes from there. And family vacations do not meet the requirements of what is called an educational enhancement opportunity. So those is a special form that gives up to 10 days for circumstances that Ms. Davis approves as principal, but vacations are not. So if you're going to Disney World or you're just going to hang out, it doesn't work for those. So we do something we haven't talked about is the new start times, the new changes that are happening. Our school is 9:40 to 4:20. We're the later of the start times. So that is also something, if that's not part of what you were thinking when you applied for the school. You know, there are other schools that have different time, so you can do that part of the transfer. Just making you aware of that. So here's the reasons for excuse. You have an illness, there's religious holidays, a death in the family, doctors and dentists. We're asking, obviously, that you try to do that before school or after school. Before school might be even better now because we're a later start time, so you can get them in early in the morning. Because in the afternoon, everything's closed, it seems like. But we recognize that certain doctors, certain things you have to do in the middle of the day. We just need to know and have, why do you just left? Anyway, unexcused. As we just said, vacations. I'm just gonna take a Friday off and just do a 3-day extended weekend, non-doctor appointments, and then non-school related extracurricular activities. So there's other things that are happening that are not school related. Those are all unexcused. And then from there, as we just said, please schedule during non-school scheduled time as possible. But having attendance, being punctual, being here is very, very important because I'm part of the attendance committee, and so your child will get on a list that goes to JCPS, and then we have lots of other conversations because they miss. And as you know, if every day that they miss is instruction that they're going to fall farther and farther behind. So now to transportation, how do you get them here?
All right, well, before we talk about the 3 ways, one thing you should know, this may be a little different than other schools, is parents are not allowed to park their cars and come in the first day or first week of school. And I know that might sound like really harsh, but it's for a good reason. We've seen in the past when we have let parents come in that the tears start flowing and everybody's really upset and nobody wants to leave, and it just causes, issues. So, we really want to instill independence and ownership in our Lions, and so that's why we have that rule. From there, we have 3 different ways that you can get your kid to school. So we have the bus, obviously, and then you can see here there's a website that mid to late July, they will have posted your bus stop and the times and all of that stuff. We have car rider, and then we have walkers. So we will verify transportation on August 7th, which is the Meet the Teacher, and you'll get more details at that time. So bus riders enter and exit through the front doors of the school. Each bus is assigned a number and a color or a symbol. So you might have like a butterfly bus that's 2017, those two things in combination. Bus riders must ride the bus on the first day and leave for school. And then when they are here, those first couple of days, we'll be putting transportation tags on each student's backpack so that we know all the information and we're making sure to check and double check that they're going home the right way, that they get on the right bus or that they're in the gym waiting to be a car rider in the afternoon. And those tags stay on a child's backpack all school year long. So if you start the school year and you're a bus rider and then like 6 months later, there's a change in whatever's going on at home and you have to make them a car rider, we need to know that because we will then change out the tag to make sure, again, that your child is going home the way that you want them to. The school handbook explains the rules for the bus riders. Students are expected to obey the bus rider and follow the bus rules at all times. Bus referrals are issued for misbehavior on the bus. A bus referral impacts the report card behavior grade. So referrals, I think, drop 11 grades, right? Yeah. So if that is just that behavior grade drops a letter grade if the student gets a referral. And then bus suspensions may be issued for 3 or more bus referrals for serious infractions. Moving on to car riders. Car riders may arrive between 9:05 and 9:35 a.m. So if you want to drop your child off, that is the window that we're looking at. And it's actually right here at this door. This is exit 38 right here. So there's a loop, and I have created a video that will be sending out to you of kind of what that process looks like. So for example, when you pull onto the property, you're gonna have your child go ahead and unbuckle. Because you're just gonna go down this loop, you have to take the full loop, and then you're gonna come back up through this way, and then the car will stop. They have to be ready to get out, which I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, so let me keep going here. So plan on a 9:05 to 9:20 a.m. arrival, and that time frame is set aside for reading an AR, which is accelerated reader. So during that time frame, they'll be sitting outside the classroom doors, and they'll be reading a book silently. Then at 9:25, they go into the classroom, and that's when they're preparing for the day. They're getting organized, getting their stuff ready to go. Car rider arrival and dismissal takes place in the car rider line only, meaning like you can't pull up to the front of the school and let your child out to the front of the school. You're gonna have to take the loop. Students may not walk to or from the church lot, side streets, or parking lot during arrival or dismissal either. So, all car riders should be in the building by 9:35 a.m. So we will shut down the line at 9:35. It's likely going to be me out right here on the corner. And if you're past that 9:35, I'm going to be pointing for you to go to the front of the school. There are some parking spots right out here, and there's little signs that say, oops, I'm late. And you got to park there, and then you have to walk your child up, and then there's a little cart that sits in the front of the school that you will kind of sign your child in from there. Yes, so students who arrive after the close of car rider line will be counted as a late arrival. And then students who arrive after 9:40 are marked an official tardy. So that will go into Infinite Campus. Car riders are dismissed after the 4:20 bell. And then car riders must be picked up by 4:40. That's such a different time frame now. So they'll be dismissed at 4:20 and then they must be picked up by 4:40. All right, car rider information continued. You have to have a visible tag. So you'll have the little car, it's like a little hook. You just put it on your rearview mirror. It has to be visible because if you don't have a tag, then you can't get your student. It doesn't matter if you've been through the line 50 times and I know your face and I know who your kid is and I know their name and everything else. If you don't have the tag, I cannot give you your child. So make sure that you have that visible for us to see. Also, when you're pulling onto the parking lot in the afternoon, Miss Gattell will be out there and she'll be writing down the car rider numbers. And if you have to slow down to stop and dig it out and then show her, it just kind of creates a little bit of wasted time for us. We're trying to just be as efficient as we can to get them in and out. For safety purposes, students have to exit on the passenger side. So because you're going to drive down, you have this loop, and then you come back up this way, they're going to have to get out of the right side of the car. Because they can't get out on the left side, there's traffic coming that way. It creates a safety concern. There's a diagram of the car rider line in the school handbook for your reference. And then the front of the building is designated for buses and is off limits to cars on arrival and dismissal times. And those times are listed right here. If you need an additional car rider tag, we do offer those. I think you get 2 to start the year. And then if you lose it or you gave it to grandma because she picks up half the time, you can get another one in the front office for $1. All right. Students need to learn their car rider number. This is super, super important because we have, between 250 and 300 car riders. And so in the afternoon, they really need to know their numbers so that we can be efficient again, like I said. So when their number's called, they can stand up and they can go get in line. Because if they don't know their numbers, then that just slows us way down. And they'll have that same number once you're issued a car rider number for the whole time they're at Greathouse. So they don't have to learn a new number each year. They'll have the same number each year. If the child is not in the gym for carpool or does not hear her number, you'll be asked to pull to the front designated space for assistance. So there are times where they come through the line, you've sat there for 20 minutes, wait for school to let out, and then you come through and you don't have your card tag. I have to ask you to go to the front to get one of those. Again, for safety reasons. The front of the building is a fire lane. Do not double park in the fire lane at any time. And parking is available behind the standing signs. Also with that, there is a grace period for kindergarten. We realize that there's a lot thrown at them all the time, like right there in the beginning of the school year, they're trying to learn their teachers' names and what to do, when, where, how. We get all that. There's a grace period for them. They will get a popsicle stick with their car rider number before they leave on the first day of school, and they'll have that for maybe the first week or 2, just so they can hold it up and we can kind of help them with that. All right, on the walkers.
And I just want to add some things for kindergarten that I learned coming here is helping them practice learning how to open the door, how to get out on their own, because it is one of the expectations of Greathouse. Yes, we can assist, but we ask that that they know how to get their backpack on, have everything ready so they can walk right out the door or get the door open and walk into or get into the car, which is really important. We're going to talk about walkers. Those are those that live within 1 mile from the school and may be dismissed as a walker. And as you can see, you will need to sign a statement that says that you want your child to be a walker, so that way we have it on file. For kindergarten students, just like for buses, you have to be standing there for your child when they get off the bus. You must walk your child to the physical door of our school if they're in kindergarten, because just for a safety piece of that. But as you can see, that'll be completed on Meet the Teacher if you're a walker. You got it for me? Oh, thank you. That's so kind. I also thought that I'm not in the camera. So I'm gonna stand closer. So walkers can arrive between 9:05 and 9:35, and I would say the earlier that you get them here, the more settled they are in our building, which is very helpful, and they can start working on some of their work that they already have going on. They're going to enter through the front door or the gym door, which is right here. Walkers never should cross any of the parking lots, front, side, or staff. They should use the sidewalks that we have entering the front doors and walk alongside the building when entering through the gym. Because if you didn't notice, we have one entrance and one exit in our building. So there's buses, there's cars, there's a lot of activity that goes on. So we want to make sure that we keep everyone safe. And so that is walkers. And as we go for dismissal, they're dismissed at exit 8, which is over on this side, the Taylorsville Road side intermediate hallway. After all buses leave the front parking lot, because again, for safety purposes, we want to make sure that there's no traffic around. Parents should wait outside the door until the students are dismissed by a staff member, and then walkers who cross grounds lane need to circle the sidewalk around the bus loading area and wait for the crossing guard. So we have this big circle, we have a sidewalk, you're going to walk around that, and then we have a traffic guard, because if you've ever been in our traffic on Grounds Lane, it's a mess. And so without our traffic guard, we couldn't do it without them. So that is also important. And from there, CEP, is that me? Oh my gosh, I get to do more. I'm very excited. Sorry, I didn't check. All right, so CEP, Child Enrichment Program, which is run by Mr. Russ and a wonderful group of people that's here in our school. So drop off for CEP is 7 to 9:05, and you're going to park on the side of the building, right over here. You're going to ring the bell, and then they will open the door so you can get in. of the blue line right here. And then pickup is 4:45 to 6 p.m. You're gonna park in front of the building, right where you probably have been doing now where the signs are. You're gonna ring the bell, that's where the entrance you just came in. They'll open that door and like with your kid. Students may not be dismissed from CEP prior to 4:45. So you're like, well, I'm gonna have to go to CEP and then I'll just get them during our dismissal process. You're going to need to wait till our dismissal process is over and then you pick them up. If you need it a different way, then you'll need to do a change of transportation. So that's really important. And then if you have any questions about the YMCA, you can go to the website or call that number there to get them enrolled in the CEP. I know it is a very popular thing here and there may be a wait list, so you want to get on that early.
And one thing I do want to clarify, all students at Greathouse have one afternoon dismissal, which is either car, bus, walker, or CEP. Even if you know that every Tuesday afternoon you're gonna pick your child up in the car rider line, their afternoon dismissal is still gonna be marked and logged as whatever they normally do, if it's bus or whatever. You would send a note on the day that the change needs to take place. So whatever dismissal you're gonna do most of the time, that's how we're going to log and chart the dismissal in the classroom. Then if you need to make a change, even if it's every single Tuesday, you're gonna send a note, okay?
Yeah. And I think that's the second slide, the next slide, I just want to say this.
Okay, I'm ahead of myself. So, visitors and volunteers, the front parking lot is available once school gets started, 9:40 until 4:05. Again, you have to ring the bell. We cannot just open the door. The buzzer does not work unless you ring the bell. We do ask that you not ring the bell while we're doing morning announcements because the bell interferes with the PA system. So if you need to come during arrival or dismissal, we ask that you park in a visitor parking space or in one of the spaces with a late car rider signs, and you can come into the front door. All visitors, and parents are still visitors, must report to the office, sign in, and wear a name tag while you're in the building. And we take this very seriously. In this day and age, with everything that's happening, this is a priority. So you will be asked to show your ID if they do not know you at the front. You will be asked, can I help you, before you are buzzed into the building. We need to know who you are, what you're here for, what your purpose is, because safety is paramount with that. And as I mentioned, no note, no change, no exceptions. Okay, so get together with the family, decide what that afternoon dismissal is going to be. You will verify it when you come from your teacher, you'll sign off, and then you'll send a note each day. We're not gonna send a note that says, every Monday, my child's gonna be a car rider, and they're gonna ride the bus every day. No, the note comes on the day. And that's because the teacher is responsible for making sure that all 24, 28, or 29 students get counted and dismissed correctly, so we have to have that daily note. If you need to make a last minute change, the latest time that we can do that is 3:50. So know what you're gonna do, call the office, but no changes can be made after 3:50 because we've already distributed the papers, we've already counted our groups, we've already organized for dismissal, and we don't make changes because it's not safe to make changes at that point. We do not allow students to leave school property with anyone other than the parent or the guardian unless we have written notification from that parent or guardian. And that's another safety issue that we don't mess around with. Now, there may be some times where you need to sign your student out early. We call that an early dismissal. And if you need to do that, you're going to call the office when you arrive or ring the bell, come on in. That has to be completed by 3:50 as well. Because again, safety, numbers, lists, we can't make any changes after 3:50. The office staff will call for your student. Teachers are not allowed to dismiss students from the classroom. Even if you've been volunteering, you've been on a field trip, you've been working in the classroom, no, it has to be done through the office. And that's another safety issue.
All right, let's talk about money. School fundraising, we have lots of ways that we raise funds here at school. And there's some that are passive, meaning you can give money to our school and just by purchasing things from Kroger and other places. So we do a coupon book sale as a school. PTA does a fundraiser. We do one right now that costs us $25, and we get $12.50 of that, which is going to support student technology and other programs that are happening in our school. So we're asking that families sell coupon books. That's a QR code right there for the Kroger. That is the easiest way. I just went and looked at mine. If you have the Kroger app, you can even go on there right now. There's the 3 dots at the top, or 3 lines, called that hamburger. Go to rewards, click on community rewards, and then put in Greathouse Elementary, and then boom, you're already giving us money without even just by shopping at Kroger. So we were looking at the day, and some of us given $6 this quarter, some of us given $5, but all that money is going to come back to us. So I would highly encourage you to do that right now. So that way you're already set. And then we have our Target credit card that's does a 1% purchase, and then our Office Depot. And there will be some other opportunities that you'll see through PTA. And I think on the pink paper that you've got, or one of the papers, there's some fundraising pieces that might be in there. But like I said, the Kroger one is really the easiest one out of all of it. So you may not even be getting money right now, or maybe you're getting somewhere and you didn't even realize you were doing it. That's one I would check. And community involvement.
All right, so here's just a list of some of the community partnerships we've had in the past and plan to continue in the future. So if you look down, some different ways that we partner, like I said, with the community. You take a look at that list. And then here's our extracurricular programs. We have a lot of the standard things, and some of the ones we've added this year, this past school year, or the one we're getting ready to close, is the Chinese Club, Lego Club, Video Club. So some fun new additions. Fencing, I think, is also one we added this year.
Yes.
Yeah. So some of the standard, and then some fun things added in this year. And what's really, really, really important about extracurricular programs is all students who participate must meet the academic and behavior requirements in order to be able to participate. So that is a C or an SP average or above in each subject area, including behavior. And what will happen is if they don't meet those expectations, they'll be placed on probation for 1 grading period, and if the grade or grades do not improve, the student will be removed from that activity. So super important to kind of know that in advance, so you can make sure that that doesn't happen.
Then let's talk about lunches here and food. Obviously, you might be busy in the morning, you may not be able to get breakfast for your child. Breakfast is served at our school, but there is a cutoff, and there's not a cutoff point, there'll be a grab and go, but we would rather them get their breakfast, have it all finished before they're rolling into the classroom. Breakfast right now, currently in this school year, is $1.75. It's 88 cents if you qualify for reduced breakfast. So unfortunately, at this moment, we don't have the forms if you want it to be free and reduced. But at the beginning of the year, there will be a form that you can fill out to be a free and reduced family if that's what you need. And then lunches are $2.80, $1.45. We are not a free school. There are certain schools in JCPS that are free schools as free as lunch and breakfast and lunch, and we're not one of those. So. And then from there, breakfast, like I said, are grab and goes. Parents are always welcome to have lunch with their child, but that's after the first 2 weeks of school because we want to make sure we can get our procedures and our things in place so before we add an additional component of you all joining us. You do not have to make a reservation that says, hey, we're coming. It's sometimes helpful to let the teacher know, but lunchtimes may change due to field trips or special activities. You'll see that lunch schedule. You can keep it on your refrigerator so that you'll know. We'll have that schedule out in July or August when each teacher. And we would love for you to volunteer to help in the lunchroom. There's also opportunities for our gentlemen here in the audience. We have a Watchdogs program that allows you to volunteer throughout the course of the day to support as well. They go to the cafeteria. So that is something that's run by the PTA, but really important. It's just for the success of our school. Our school lunch program is a self-serve line, meaning as you can see, it's right outside there. They'll make their choices of the things that they want. How do you know what's going to be on the menu? Well, it's online And so you can print that out or look that to see what the choices are. There's a variety of options. And if you have food allergies or vegetarian or something like that, you'll fill out a special form that from the cafeteria manager, and then that's put into the system so that they know and it'll be flagged in the system. If you're gonna bring your lunch, soft drinks and carry out lunches from restaurants are not permitted. One, for you, if you're coming in to give to your child, but two, if you're trying to just give it to your child, like here's the leftover Taco Bell from last night, just throw it in your bag. Try to think about that. If your child brings lunch from home, they need to provide their own utensils, napkins, etc. And then from here, every child has a 4-digit number, more things to remember. Kindergarten students usually wear it on their neck or they have a card or something like that that helps and support them. But they'll have a 4-digit number that they'll need to learn. They type it into a little keypad and then it goes on. And that is one of the systems that allow, so children don't know who is not getting lunch, who's getting lunch free, reduce that type of thing. As you can see, breakfast is served 9:05 to 9:40 each day, beginning on the first day of school, and we have grab and go breakfast bags. Snack breaks, they happen, and because our lunch will be just a little bit later, just thinking about your kindergarten student, it's themselves, we have a later time, they're gonna be kind of tired, thinking about that energy piece right there. Please make sure that they are a healthy snack. And if you feel like you want to support the classroom, maybe there's students that can't bring their own snack, you can bring in extra snacks, talk to the teacher, and they'll allow you to do that. Students may carry a water bottle. Check with your teacher though about specifics of that water bottle, but we do have water fill stations. We just ask that their name is on it. And speaking of that, make sure their name is on their clothes as far as like sweaters and all those outside things, because if you don't know, we have a lost and found back there, it's a little messy, but everyone's clothes look the same. So we don't know whose is whose. And so one red versus the other red sweater, we don't know. So that's just helpful, that's one of those side tips. All right, student supplies.
Okay, the student supply list is not ready yet, but it will be posted on our school website this summer. So you can take a look and see what the current one from past year. It will probably be pretty similar, but we'll get that updated. Our instructional fee remains constant at $25 a student, and you are able to make that payment during Meet Your Teacher on August 7th or within the first 2 weeks of the school year. We do not have a school bookstore, so students are responsible for replenishing their own supplies as needed throughout the year. Now, SBDM, which is site-based decision-making, has been around at Greathouse since 1996, and this is a council of staff members, parents, and administration that set policy in all of those areas listed, meeting once a month. I have listed our current members, all of the policies, the rules, the bylaws that are in our handbook. This council comes up with those and sets those. And you can find those on our school website as well. One really big thing that the council does is set our dress code. And as I mentioned earlier, the dress code is a really big part of the traditional program. It is strictly enforced each day. Our uniform policy can be found on the website. We just recently made some tweaks to that, so the updated one is already on our website. And as I mentioned, it's approved by SBDM each year. Now, if you have a pink handout, you have the dress code policy in front of you, and we're going to start with slacks or pants. Pants, they can be navy blue or khaki, can be twill, cotton, or polyester, so there's no denim. Must have belt loops for grades 2 through 5. So if you've got a kindergartner or a first grader, they can have belt loops and wear a belt, or you can get the elastic. And if it does have belt loops, we do ask that a belt be worn with that. Classic ankle length, straight leg, no cargo pants, and no capri pants with those. Shorts, same colors, same fabrics. Again, must have belt loops for grades 2 through 5, and you have to wear a belt if there's belt loops. Worn at the waist level, and we do require that shorts be knee length, and that means touching the top of, the middle, or the bottom of the kneecap. That's knee length. Skirts, maybe navy blue, khaki, or Beverly plaid. Let's hold up a Beverly plaid in something. That's that dark blue-green check. The styles are box pleat, worn at the waist level, again, knee length. We do not allow pajama pants to be worn under skirts, and leggings can be worn, but they can't be worn alone. So if you're cold and want to wear the leggings, you can put them under, but not by themselves. Monkey bar or biker shorts are strongly recommended, especially for the younger students. You can Google monkey bar shorts, and it's just a little short that covers underwear. Jumpers can be navy blue, khaki, Beverly plaid, twill, cotton, or polyester of the fabric. Pinafore, which is the V, or box pleats. Again, the knee length is still the same. Again, we do not wear pajama pants, underskirts, or jumpers. Leggings may be worn, but not alone as pants. Shirts, knit polo with a collar is our most popular, and that can be long or short sleeve. Solid white, solid red, solid navy blue, unless you are in 4th or 5th grade. Once you get into 4th or 5th grade, you are allowed to wear the light blue. That's kind of a rite of passage, light blue. Turtlenecks are also allowed, same colors, tucked in at all times, and that's strictly enforced for 2nd through 5th grade, not so much for K and 1. T-shirts, you don't have to wear a t-shirt, but if you choose to wear a t-shirt under any kind of a shirt, that needs to be white and with no logos or anything to show. Shirts and blouses are also allowed, button-down Oxford cloth with Peter Pan collars. Peter Pan is just that rounded collar. They can be short or long sleeve, solid white or light blue 4th and 5th grade. Again, tucked in for 2nd through 5th grade. And we'll move to sweaters. There's 3 styles of sweaters: the crew, the V, and the cardigan. Solid navy blue, solid red, solid white are allowed. We do require that sweaters be waist or hip length and must be worn with a collared shirt or a turtleneck underneath at all times. Now, we do have sweatshirts and sweatpants that have the embroidered Greathouse logo sold by our PTA. The students may wear these on School Spirit Day or on their Health and PE Day. Sweatshirts must be worn with a collared shirt or turtleneck underneath, and you can see in the picture that these students have their polos underneath. Sweatpants, they can have the logo or they can be just plain. We added that this year. And again, worn on PE or School Spirit Days. Belts, solid black, brown, solid navy blue. We don't allow oversized or ornamental buckles. And we do ask that clothing with belt loops, you have a belt, and that's grades 2 through 5. K and 1, the magnetic fasteners are very popular, and we do allow those. Socks and tights, solid white, solid navy blue, solid red, worn at all times and must be visible. Shoes are also required to be worn at all times, and they must be laced, tied, or fastened. Now, there are some shoes we do not allow, such as boots, flip-flops, shower, jelly shoes, clogs, sandals, backless shoes, and any shoe that lights up are not allowed. And the reason we have such a long laundry list is because every day students are expected to participate in outside physical activity, or what you probably remember as recess, and we need students to be safe and have the correct shoes on for that. Now, conventional athletic shoes, also called tennis shoes, that are laced, tied, or fastened, must be worn on the PE day, and you'll find out more about that. We do ask that hair be free from elaborate designs or cuts and must have a natural color. Accessories and miscellaneous, earrings, necklaces, and bracelets may not distract or dangle. And then we do not allow makeup and nail polish and glitter or tattoos. Now, we do permit tattoos during religious observance periods, but not on a regular basis. We do not allow caps or hats or gloves or coats or sunglasses in the classroom. You can wear those to school, but then those get put away in the classroom. So if you have a student that is cold-natured, you're going to want to make sure that you send a sweatshirt or a sweater to wear. Scarves are limited to religious or medical purposes only. We do not allow labels or brand name tags on clothing. So even if you want to buy a Tommy Hilfiger, you got to cut off the Tommy Hilfiger tag. So everyone is the same. No rolling backpacks, they do not fit into our lockers. No holes or rips in clothing allowed. Now, if you have a scout, boy or girl scout, they may wear their uniform on their meeting days. and uniform clothing should not be oversized or undersized. Now, we do have a little bit of fun around here, despite all of the rules. We, on the first Friday of every month, that is our school spirit day. We wear a sweatsuit, denim, blue denim, that means jeans and shorts, denim skirts. You can wear any t-shirt that says Greathouse. We eat popcorn. The PTA provides popcorn. It's great. So that's the first Friday of the month. Now, every other Friday, you can still wear your Greathouse t-shirt, but you have to wear uniform bottoms. So only the first day, the first Friday of the month is Spirit Day. And here's some couple of pictures of Spirit Day. Now, dress code violations, there is a specific dress code violation form that you can find in the handbook. The first time, we're gonna send the violation home, we're gonna highlight it. There is a grace period the first 2 weeks of the school, so nothing counts against anyone. The second time, you're gonna get a phone call, and you're gonna get the violation form. The third time, we're gonna require you to bring in the correct uniform, or whatever's missing. And that's for the third time. Okay, kindergarten camp.
Right, so kindergarten camp this year right now is August the 2nd and 3rd, so I go ahead and mark out those dates. You may not need to be both of those dates, but one of those days. So right now, just go ahead and put those in your calendar. We're still working towards that. But this is an opportunity for your child to meet their teacher and learn that Greathouse way. They're gonna go over the rules and all of that. We're going to do a lot of assessments, a lot of pre-work to see where your child is, so that way we can go ahead and start on the ground running. So that's really important. And then they're gonna learn those routines and procedures that are very important to help them be successful. So that's kindergarten camp. And mark your calendar yourself for the back to school, well, you can't mark it, you actually don't have it. Back to school skating party will happen, it'll happen before school, an opportunity that usually happens at Champs Roller Dome. We have Meet Your Teacher Day, is August the 7th. Go ahead and mark that down. First day of school, August the 9th, just around the corner. And our classroom assignments will be mailed late July. We always want to make sure you have a current address. So it's always important, like you can go into Infinite Campus or that jcps.me/parent. You can update and change your things yourself, but calling school to say, my phone number's changed, my address has changed, or something in your household card has changed. Because we will get those back and then we'll have some conversations. But from there, if some reason you're unable to make something or you already know that, you can contact us and let us know, just so we're prepared. Because we know it is during the summertime, but school starts early. Parent open house. It will be late August, early September, excuse me. We're still working on the dates and times for that. It is a parents only. I know that sounds weird, but it's parents only. It's an opportunity so that way you know, again, all the rules and parts that are for the school. It's very important. It's a presentation by the PTA and administration team, and the teachers will present their curriculum, their classroom procedures, schedules, routines, expectations. Very, very important to attend. And from there, our mission statement, Ms. Davis.
Okay, and I do like to end with our mission because it explains everything that we do, and it ensures our long history of academic success. We are committed to providing a traditional learning environment where each student is responsible for his or her own social, academic, and physical well-being in order to become a contributing member of our diverse society. I know we've given you so much information tonight, but we do want to thank you for attending. We have listed current office hours. This is this year. Of course, those times will change for next year. So if you do have any questions, feel free to give us a call, reach out, email us. If we respond to email, we'll be happy to answer any questions. We'll also be hanging around a little bit after the presentation tonight, and we'll be happy to answer questions there as well. Now, I will say this too, as I mentioned, I've been here for 21 years. I will be getting off of this bus. I will be here through June. Our SBDM council is currently in the process of finding another principal, but I can tell you this, every single thing we've talked about today takes place with or without me. This school runs itself. And it runs itself because of the routines and the procedures that have been in place year after year after year. So I can guarantee and assure you that traditional routines and procedures will be in place, and you will have a fantastic school year next year. But thank you for coming. We appreciate you, and reach out if you do have any questions.